Good afternoon and welcome to Hell's Kitchen, New York City for our first game with SimWorld TV Tuesday triple header. I am Marsh, joined in the booth by Siege for this matchup between the Queen City Kings and Gotham 5 in Siege, the first game for Gotham 5 since the firing of head coach Tim Velarde. A lot at stake in this one. 7-6 Gotham 5 trying to end a 4-game losing streak. Queen City Kings at 7-8 trying to snap a 1-game losing streak. Siege, welcome in. What are you looking for here in New York City?
Well, Marsh, we'll start off with the big overarching news right now, and like you said, that's the departure of Coach Tim Velarde from this organization. And I know there's a lot of kind of disdain about it. You know, Velarde's a great coach; he's one of the great ones, and to see him go is kind of, we know that Gotham's had their struggles. We've talked about, is it on Velarde? Is it on some of their stars maybe not showing up like we expected? Or are the stars not showing up because the game plan's not there? So there's kind of a lot tied up in that. It's a lot to unwrap in a pre-game talk here. But it'll be interesting to see how they handle all that. Got Queen City also trying to end a 1-game losing streak, like you said. Gotham, if they can win this game, there's going to be the people who say it was Velarde. They were on a 4-game losing streak. You get them out there, they win. But I don't think it's quite as simple as that. I think the bigger story here for me, if you take the Velarde news and headlines out of the equation, is both of these teams are kind of trying to get this win over another highly rated power ranking team and kind of propel themselves up. Both trying to give themselves that spark for the rest of the season. So we'll see. It should be a hard fought one.
Well, Gotham 5, certainly for many number of days considered to be the potentially number 1, but a top 10 team at the very least in the league. They have since fallen out of the SimWorld top 10 power rankings for teams. There's a 3 there off the front iron, and that's going to be Mackenzie Mbako. And Mbako, headline grabber early in the season, Siege. Had a lot of struggles early on. He's since kind of stabilized himself up to 11.2 points per game. That's second on the team behind Majere Williams. 23 made three-pointers. That leads the team. He has stabilized what was a struggling and quiet start to the season. And on cue, bucket from deep, just inside the three-point line, and Gotham 5 on the board first.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mark, we've talked about this before. You know my feelings about Mbako. I think he still is that guy that we all expect him to be. I think the turbulence that we've seen with Gotham 5 all year, the ups and the downs, he hasn't really been able to find his rhythm, obviously. The whole team hasn't really found their rhythm. At times, they've looked really good, but haven't kind of stayed consistent. So I still think Mbako can be that guy. I think he is that guy. He's that kind of talent. So it'll be interesting to see if there's a whole scheme change and everything, how he fits into that.
Two-pointer, a tough one at that, from Norvell Dejan Jones. Gets 2 points for Queen City Kings, and they're on the board. A big matchup we mentioned in the open. Gotham 5 loses a 4 in a row, and they are now outside of the top 10 record-wise as well in a league at SimWorld that's quickly kind of drawn the line in the sand. 8-6 and above, that's your top 10 teams, but there is 10 teams, meanwhile, in that 1 game above to 2 games below, if we include the AT Aliens in that mix, that are, let's call them the SimWorld middle class. A very large group of teams, Siege, that just, for one reason or another, haven't been able to string together wins. Both Queen City and Gotham 5 find themselves in that as 2 missed threes there from Sire Matthews, free throws rather, keeps us tied at 2. In your opinion, at this point in the season, we're approaching the midway point. What's the reasoning for such a large middle class? Do you think that's a sign of a balanced league, or a league that might be lacking type of talent that goes deep down into the abyss of the league?
Well, it's tough to say. I think, in my opinion, it goes to show a balance. We've said this a lot on broadcast and just in general. We've talked a lot about kind of any team can beat anybody on any given day, and we've seen that in its full force with some upsets that we've had so far this year. And I think it's important to remember, we're just now kind of coming up on the around halfway point of the season. There's a lot of games left. And some of those middle-class teams, if you want to call them, they're going to find their way to be a little better. And to be honest, some of those top 10 teams might not make it the distance. So it's a lot left to see. I think it speaks to the parity that's going on in the league. There's a lot of teams that can get it done anywhere.
Norvell DeJean Jones gets 2 points after the turnover there from Williams. Tried to inbound it to Lovejoy, or rather Matthews trying to pull that one off. Matthews now with the ball, gets a screen from Lovejoy. Will work his way in the paint. Tough look for him, can't find any success there. Finds Lovejoy, he'll have to heave. And that late shot clock bucket won't fall. And a slow start for Gotham 5 for the first 3 minutes. A potentially, a rather disorganized group, which is, truthfully, even during the time of Tim Bilardi, a bit of a theme of this season. Ups have been high, but the lows have been frustrating and far too consistent. Hence the eventual firing as a fadeaway falls there, doubling up the buckets for one Sky Durant.
Yeah, I mean, disorganized chaos has kind of been the theme for Gotham, and when it works for them, because they've got a lot of talent. When that talent is hitting and that talent is firing, you can't stop them no matter how disorganized they are. But when they're not hitting, it can get a little ugly sometimes. So, to be honest, so far this game, and this is no slight of Bilardi, but I'm not seeing much of a different gameplay from Gotham 5 so far. I think this has been their game scheme all year. Tough layup there, but that's what they do. He gets a tough layup. They've got talented guys who can score, but when they're not scoring, they don't have a lot going for them.
8-6 here, midway now through the first quarter. Queen City Kings on top of Gotham 5. A pivotal game for both teams. Gotham 5 trying to end that 4-game losing streak. DeJean Jones can't get that to fall. That's rebounded and defended there by Syer Matthews. Bronx native, a very New York, obviously, based team here for Gotham 5. Turns down the screen, now coming back now from Lovejoy. Late shot clock, gonna have to heave one up. Will fades away, halfway down and out. We're staying here, no ball movement there, Siege, on that possession. Not a single pass was made from Syer Matthews.
That's something we've kind of gotten used to from Gotham. They've got some possessions that it's hero ball for whoever got the first pass from the big man on the outlet pass. It's a lot of, they're all talented. They all can play that hero ball at times, but it's not a well sustained game.
Lovejoy tries for it, but the putback there from Mugen Williams, that's good.
Too big.
Tie ball game.
Mugen Williams on the shot. And foul called on Madison Miles the third.
Williams headed to the line here. Opportunity to give Gotham 5 the lead back. They led early 2-0. Since then, Queen City Kings leading the rest of the way in what has been a slow, prodding game as a interesting inbound pass there from the ref hits the feet of Williams. Doesn't look like he was quite ready for it. And can't seem to get a handle on this one, Siege.
What have we got going on here? Bilardi leaves and the players can't play basketball anymore? What's going on?
Let's see. Third time won't happen. So get a little break. And then, okay, we got the ball. Did a little handoff there. No pass, just a handoff. So Williams now, free throw coming.
I'm feeling a drug test in the mail for Williams tomorrow morning.
Gets that one to go. And 9-8, so questioning free throw passing and fielding attempts there from Mugen Williams. Still ends up with 1 point complete, converts a 3-point play. Back at the other end. Queen City Kings trying to answer here in the middle of a competitive division as they try to chase down the H-Town Hoopers. Three-pointer falls there. Big bucket. That's Anthony Council coming off the bench.
Irish spring green, Marsh. That's beautiful.
What?
An Irish spring green.
What does that have to do with anything?
It's green. The shot went. It's green. You look at the shot chart after the game. They show you where they shot from and everything. That's a green one.
I mean, I suppose it's one shot, but here's the alley-oop. Now there's an answer. Arian Banks.
Guess what? That one's 52.
A 4-point edge now for Queen City after a nice alley-oop Darian Banks coming off the bench. His first 2 points, last 2 buckets now for Queen City from their bench unit as the failed alley-oop on the other end, trying to find Williams.
And I think Queen City's got to look at this game as a big opportunity. You can't feel bad for the opponent that they lost their head coach and they're in disarray. They know Gotham 5, even with the loss and even with the losing streak, are still a very highly respected team. So they've got to take this opportunity to come out here and show what they can do.
Offensive board there for Moogan Williams. He's dominated us. 2 offensive boards, resulting in now 5 points. And a name we haven't recognized quite yet for Queen City King, that was Madison Miles, leading the team in both points and rebounds. Miles has had a pretty emphatic season as a skying slam there. That's Anthony Council. He's got 4 now off the bench and a timeout from Gotham 5. 1:02 to play here in the first quarter, but to the point we were trying to make, Madison Miles has been an impressive addition here for Queen City Kings, Siege, adding into a paint presence to support a good backcourt of Norvell DeJean Jones and Braxton Schuyler.
Yeah, absolutely. That was kind of the role that they've been missing on this team. I mean, other than him, they have Deontay Odom, who's a nice 6'8", but more of kind of a 4. They didn't really have that dominant presence inside, and Madison Miles is more than providing that for them. And that's just one of those things we talk about. You find what your team needs. You find the holes and you fill them. And Madison Miles has filled that hole beautifully.
This is a Queen City Kings team that you have to feel pretty good about their starting 5 with Sky Durant, Norvell DeJean Jones, Miles. We talked about. You mentioned Odom, Braxton Schuyler, but perhaps the biggest issue for this group has been production off the bench and maintaining the type of production that they've gotten out of their starting 5, as Darian Banks is called for the foul. 2 free throws coming here for Gotham 5, but is that, in your opinion, Siege, the big reason for the struggling season for Queen City Kings, or is it elsewhere?
Well, I mean, having depth is important. So I think that's one of the holes for sure. We just talked about Madison Miles filled another one. I think the lack of a big man was a big reason for it. And adding that big man, it also helps the depth. You know, you got someone you can move to the bench, you can come off, used to start. You know, they got Council coming off the bench. He can score at times. So I do think his depth is something they need. I think the big man position was something they needed more. But as the season goes on, they're going to have guys step up off the bench and kind of become that depth.
Dior shooting the second free throw. That falls, 17-12. Gotham 5 having some struggles from the free throw line, not only getting the ball from the ref, but also making free throws. 3 missed now in the game. Down 5, under a minute to play here in the opening quarter. Switch there over to Banks. 7 seconds to shoot. Ball circling its way around. That's inside. Kicked out. 3-point attempt coming from Odom. That won't fall. Rebound heads the other way. No chance for a 2-for-1 now, as that's been ended, but they try one anyway. 3 seconds separating game and shot clock, but you'd expect Queen City Kings to try to back this one out. Try to hold for relatively the last shot. KJ Johnson with the ball. Into paint and a spinning layup. Converts, 7-point lead, largest here for Queen City Kings in the first quarter. And that'll force a Cayenne Anthony 3 at the buzzer that won't fall. That's going to do it for the first quarter. 19-12. Queen City Kings on top of Gotham 5, trying to push that G5 losing streak to a 5th game. Welcome back to New York City, 5 Boroughs Park in Hell's Kitchen. And putting on a hell of a cooking in the first quarter was Queen City Kings, up 19-12, 7-point lead to end the first quarter as they kept things, especially on the Gotham 5 side of the house, very much under wraps. A struggling first quarter for Gotham 5. And now they can't inbound the ball, so that's going to be a 5-second violation. We're going to step aside real quick. We'll be back after this. We're back. A little miscommunication. Other end of the floor, one of the refs was not ready yet. So that's why Gotham 5 did not inbound the ball. So it is still Gotham 5 ball, though they promptly turn it over as if they never had it. Queen City, we were saying, up 7 here, Siege, after a good offensive and defensive first quarter. They really didn't allow Gotham 5 to get into any of their offensive sets.
No, not at all. And I think Queen City, we talked about this opportunity for them, and I think they've come out and they've played hard to begin the game. If they can continue doing that, I think they'll have Gotham staying in kind of a chaotic disarray, and they'll be able to take advantage of that.
Keontae Dior can't pull that one in, or make that one rather. Rebounded by Odom. Keontae Dior, one of the carryovers from a season ago. Foul called here on Keen Matthews. Darius Simmons, as you saw there on the sideline for Queen City Kings, trying to navigate his team out of the middle class that we talked about in the first quarter. Siege, is there a team there in the middle class, in that middle third of the league that, you know, is kind of nicely been sectioned off into top 10, middle 10, bottom 10? Is there a team there you kind of expect to maybe pull ahead, pull out of that mass of people?
Well, I mean, if we're talking purely power rankings, would you consider the Yacht Club to be in that middle tier?
I would absolutely.
I would expect them to only continue to get better. They had a couple slides recently. They've had a couple wins. They're kind of still on that fence, but they're looking to start to get that puzzle together with the re-addition of Adam Max and the always stellar play of Dominic Bianco. I mean, they've got a lot of front court depth now. I could see them kind of taking advantage of, as the season goes on, maybe some of those top teams getting a little bit more complacent if that was to happen. They're my team that I think by the end of the season will be a top 10 team.
Yeah, I said it on my podcast last week that I thought they were a team that, if I was a top team, I would not want to play in the first round of the playoffs. It's nice pick and roll to Aaron Lovejoy. Gets 2 points for Gotham 5, the first real sign of offensive production we've seen from Gotham 5 so far. But I agree with you. Gotham 5 has the things that you need to be able to win. Good big man, but not necessarily your best player. Good guard, dominant guard at times. Good Bianco and Laster. I agree with you there. Good team that could find their way out. And one of the teams I've been, frustratingly watching has been the Indy Stripes at 6-9. They've won 2 in a row now. I'd almost put them in that mix of a team that, if they get hot, and you mentioned earlier, a lot of games left. Certainly capable if they were to string together more wins. They've won 2 in a row. They could be a dangerous one come the race to one.
Absolutely, and that's something you talk about at every level of basketball is getting hot at the right time. And I know you share this opinion with me. I agree. The Indy Stripes could be so much better than what they've shown so far. I think if they hit their stride at the right time, kind of get hot going into the playoffs, and they're another team that could end up with a lower seed in the 1-1, but if they do, they're going to put someone on upset watch.
Lovejoy, who seemed to be camping out in the paint there for 7 seconds, can't get it. He comes back for the slam. 23-16, and I know you're happy to see Reza Red as we do our parting shots here for Indy. Reza Red starting to play well, double-doubles in his last couple games. Starting to be a much more focal part of the Indy Stripes offense.
Oh, you know I'm so happy to see that. The resurrection has begun.
Resurrection has indeed begun. Skybrandt can't get that one to go. Dump off there. Aaron Lovejoy looked like he had a split second where he could have gone up. He did not. Goes back up here and gets it to go. And Gotham 5 starting to get a little success there with a pick and roll here in the second quarter.
And this is something that they can definitely take advantage of, Gotham 5 can. When Madison Miles is not on the court, they don't have a lot of size. Deontay Odom, like we mentioned, 6'8", but he's kind of a lanky 6'8". I don't know that he's going to be able to contain the likes of Aaron Lovejoy or Euban Williams if he's in the game. I mean, that's something that they need to be taking advantage of with all the chaos going on with this team. That's a simple thing that they can do.
And Lovejoy's 6'11", certainly has a size advantage when he's out there. They'll get the ball to him. Working off, I believe that's Skybrandt. They'll kick it out. Three-pointer for Anthony won't fall. Opportunity for a rebound from Mbako won't go, though. Sidestepping in, and then the soft layup over the top of Lovejoy. That's a nice dive there from Kevin Higgins. 2 points off the bench for Queen City Kings. But Lovejoy right back at it, and that's going to draw Queen City Kings timeout. Lovejoy getting to basically any shot that he wants here in the second quarter. We're going to step aside here. 4:09 to play in the second, back in New York after this. Queen City Kings on top of Gotham 5 here, 25-20. Midway through the second quarter, Aaron Lovejoy having a good second quarter, 6 points, as he has paced Gotham 5's somewhat rally, down 7 after the first quarter, obviously within 5 now, but a interior game so far sees just one made three-pointer from either team at the 3:43 mark of the second quarter.
Yeah, and we're watching Aaron Lovejoy put on a show so far here, and I think that's again because we saw him kind of start showing out as soon as Madison Miles stepped off the court. That was a smart move by Lovejoy. Kind of said, "All right, there's no one on the floor who can contain me even a little bit, so I'm gonna go right at it."
Foul called there on Deontay Odom. Going to send Mackenzie Mbako, the former number 2 ranked player in SimWorld Hoops, now at 28th in the country, to the line. Chance to pull within a singular possession. Queen City has led this one pretty much since 9-8. They rallied back after that, took a 15-9 lead, and they haven't looked back since. Gotham 5 trying to make their way back into this one. But certainly we're feeling the repercussions of the Tim Belardi firing in this game. Gotham 5 has looked flat at times. They haven't quite looked dynamic or dominant really at all in this game. Out of sorts and just seems like at times it's just stagnant.
Yeah, absolutely, and more so than usual, I would say. This is you know, we talk about any team can be any team on any given day, but when you look at it, Queen City Kings is a team that Gotham 5 should be able to take care of without too much issue. So, like you said, we're seeing the repercussions of it. We'll see if they can kind of overcome that. That'll be a great kind of thing to watch in the second half. But as of right now, Queen City Kings, even though it's only a 3-point game, seem to have this one in control.
Third foul called here on Deontay Odom. He has been picked on here in this second quarter, especially in the pick and roll. That'll send Major Williams to the free throw line. Chance to pull within one. But we've seen a lot more pick and roll here in the second quarter for Gotham 5, reaping some rewards, whether that be Aaron Lovejoy back buckets or, in this case, free throws for Gotham 5. But 3 fouls on Odom. He's going to stay in the game here, of course, fouling out after 5 in StimWorld Hoops. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, they kind of have to leave him on the floor. they don't have a lot of options at that position.
We'll still know. I think Massimaz might have just checked in, but he has not. Actually, he's not on the floor, I don't believe. Nope, that's him right there in back of the ball. Stand corrected. So you're right. They don't have many other options. After that, their next biggest guy would be Sky Durant. He's at the small forward position, so certainly a smaller Queen City Kings team. There's Miles. Late in the shot clock. That's going to have to be a corner 3 heave for Norvell. DeJon Jones won't fall. Rebound heads the opposite direction. Gotham 5 trying to take the lead. Their first lead opportunity since midway through the first quarter.
Okay, I'm seeing a little offensive action here.
Go ahead there. What'd you say?
I'm seeing a little offensive movement, some screens, some good ball movement, and it's going to end in a shot check. All right. And it's going to go, though. It's going to go!
Aaron Lovejoy, a deep 2. Lovejoy does not have a three-pointer on the season. He still won't, as his foot was straddling the line there. But that is the first lead for Gotham 5 since the first quarter. 26-25. Timeout called here for Queen City Kings. And one thing we'll keep an eye on is if they will, in fact, decide to keep Deontay Odom out there. He has not been efficient here in the second quarter for Queen City.
Not at all. They're going to have to find, they were doing really well at the beginning of the game, but they're going to have to find somebody to kind of come up big. We're going to step aside, take a quick break. We'll be back soon. And to make it 2-possession game, and they will!
Definitely gonna have to look elsewhere.
Oh!
Back in New York City, Gotham 5 just took their first lead over Queen City Kings on NBA Draft Lottery night. Big night ahead, 8 p.m. will be. You don't even need to go anywhere. We'll fill you in. Watching the lottery is not interesting at all. We'll fill you in on who gets that pick, because we're in the first game of a SimWorld triple header today. Doubleheader, I beg your pardon, doubleheader. We'll get the second one in.
Lovejoy!
Lovejoy gets 2 more to go.
He's going for it today. He said there's no coach, there's disarray, it's my time to shine. Aaron Lovejoy is alive.
3-point lead here for Gotham 5, all because of Aaron Lovejoy's dominant second quarter. And we're going to get a jump ball. And with 1:30 left, Gotham 5, chance to steal a possession. DeJon Jones and Matthews to go for this one, and it'll be won by DeJon Jones. Late shot clock. Here comes Sky Durant, skying in for the slam.
Boom, shot clock.
28-27. Queen City trying to weather the storm here That is a Gotham 5 second quarter. Screen there, trying to free up Zaire Matthews. Does for a half a second. And looks like he was going for the inbound pass, but tipped away on the best pass in. Anthony Council, who is leading the team in scoring for Queen City Kings in this game, comes back in. Joined by KJ Johnson. Inbound to Lovejoy. A little mismatch on Banks. He will get a jump ball with 0.4 seconds to play. Really missed opportunity there for Aaron Lovejoy.
It's a scrappy little play. Get the jump ball, probably not going to win it, but at least it stops him from being inside the paint like that. Oh! I didn't realize the shot clock was so low. Great scrappy little play.
Sound like J.R. Smith over there.
Well, I'd be honored.
28-27, that will be a shot clock violation. It's 0.4 seconds, so good defensive stand from Queen City. Chance now with under a minute to take the lead back in a game that they've really dominated up here until the second quarter. But Gotham 5 has rallied back, and it'll be a block there from Mugen Williams. Kicks it, three-pointer. Gets it to go. The first three made from Gotham 5.
Irish spring green, Marsh.
Now, this shot chart I don't think is Irish spring green for most of them out there. A lot of bricks from beyond the arc. And now a block from Williams on Darian Banks. Banks trying to go again. He won't. Kicks it over to Council. Council into the paint. Pull-up won't fall. 5 seconds to shoot. It'll be Dior. Mid-range. Hit, fall. And that's our halftime. 31-27. Gotham 5 overcomes a pretty devastating first quarter, outscoring Queen City Kings by 12 in the second quarter. We'll do a little quick math for you. 12-point advantage in the second quarter to take a 5-point edge into halftime in the second quarter siege, all Aaron Lovejoy.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we talked about the kind of disarray we've seen from Gotham 5, so Aaron Lovejoy has taken the moment and made it his. He absolutely dominated that second quarter. Honestly, whether Madison Miles was on the floor or not, he just looked like an animal out there. He was scoring inside the paint. He hit a couple jump shots, one from pretty deep. Not necessarily something we're used to seeing him do, but he's been phenomenal so far for Gotham. Queen City Kings have got to find a way to start getting back to what they were doing early. You know, they're going to have a chance to win.
Back for the second half here in New York City, Gotham 5. Rallying back with a good second quarter, taking a 4-point lead over Queen City Kings, 31-27 on the back of a great Aaron Lovejoy second quarter. He leads the way, all scores with 12 points, got 2 blocks, rebound, an assist, and a steal, doing just about everything. As the rebound there goes to Mackenzie Mbako. Siege, second half, what's going to be the keys on both sides of the house to get a win in this game?
I think the key for Gotham is simple. The bigs are showing out. Aaron Lovejoy, like you said, leading all scorers. Regan Williams not having himself a bad game, only 5 points, but he's got 7 boards and 2 blocks. You know, we've keyed in on this lack of size for Queen City quite a few times, and it's showing in the game. That's why Gotham is up right now. They're going to have to do stuff like that, get to the rim, get open lanes, slam it home if they're going to have a chance to win this. I don't know that they're going to find a way to contain this big.
An easy bucket from Braxton Schuyler is only met by an easy bucket from Mugen Williams. And that is back to a 6-point lead. And of course, the big question mark for Gotham 5 this season, or rather the question marks consistently, as the alley-oop falls. That's Deontay Odom, who had some foul trouble in the first half. Is 6 ranked players on this Gotham 5 team, and yet they're still just 7-6. Of course, that led to the firing of Tim Blarty. But Siege, what's the panic level with this group as the emphatic block there from Sky Durant?
I mean, the panic level with this organization is obviously high to let go of a coach like Tim Blarty. There's no denying that. The panic level of the players, I'd hope is relatively low, because you don't want your players panicking. They're still talented. They're not in a terrible situation. They're not living up to the expectations for their... Oh my God. There's another easy bucket for one of the bigs for Gotham, but they're not living up to the expectations. But they're not in a terrible spot. They're in a fine spot to compete for a playoff spot. They're going to have this hurdle to overcome. I don't think it's time for the players to be panicking. I think obviously the organization is panicking, whether it be valid or not, but I don't think the panic level should be high, no.
Certainly a disappointment level is high. A team that was widely expected to be one of the better, if not the best team in the league. And of course, it mentioned 6 ranked players, none lower than 74. It's a very highly ranked group. But yet, here they are, 7-6, trying to end a 4-game losing streak, a losing streak that cost head coach Tim Blarty his job, the reigning coach of the year. So it's not just the NBA that has a propensity to fire reigning coaches of the year. Simmerall Hoops clearly no different. 3 won't fall, 37-33, Queen City Kings trying to make up some ground here. Notably with no Aaron Lovejoy on the floor right now for Gotham 5. I beg your pardon, he's there underneath. I apologize. But a late shot clock won't fall. Still 37-33. Rebound to Lovejoy, his second. He'll bring it up the floor.
Point God, Lovejoy!
He'll dump it into Williams. Williams, the little quick baby hook. And the lead back up to 6 as Gotham 5 has found plenty of success now in the second and third quarters getting into the paint with their 2 big men.
Yeah, I don't know that Queen City's going to find a way to stop them, short of maybe double teaming them.
John Jones gets the deep 2 to fall. Well, certainly the size differential is apparent. Both of them are 6'11". They've also got Mackenzie Mbako they can throw out there at 6'9", and Akeem Matthews at 6'8". As the layup won't fall for Kyan Anthony. But a big group for Gotham 5, and certainly not nearly as big of a group as a steal there from Lovejoy. He's got 2 now.
Point God, Lovejoy! Point God, Lovejoy!
So he's trying to get it back inside. He will. Guarded by Madison Miles is Mugen Williams.
The 2-man game here from Mugen and Aaron Lovejoy.
The
back and
big
forth,
on
back
big
and
pick
forth.
and roll, as you mentioned, Siege, but that will result in goal.
Yeah, well, it was fun to watch. Jesus!
An emphatic block kickstarts a fast break opportunity. Can Williams take advantage?
He's going to have to write an apology letter for that one. That was disrespectful.
Tried to get it in, but it's stolen here.
This is
That's
what happens when anyone other than the bigs for Gotham 5 has touched the ball. Give it to the bigs, two-man big game. Lovejoy and Mugen Williams, I'm on the train. And Baco's all in up.
Baco in there, yeah.
No, he's too short. Yes!
Ryan Anthony finding Aaron Lovejoy, who continues to get what he wants, and that discovery of the pick and roll has been advantageous for Gotham 5. Here in the third quarter, lead is up to 6. We're going to step aside, 3:05 to play in the third quarter. Welcome back to New York City. We are here, Gotham 5 holding a 6-point edge on Queen City Kings. Late third quarter. Second and third quarter have been all Gotham 5 stage. They fell down early, trailed by 7 after the first quarter, but Aaron Lovejoy has arrived on the scene here in the second and third quarters to pull Gotham 5 ahead, and there's simply been no answer for Queen City Kings for the Gotham 5 center.
Absolutely not. I mean, Aaron Lovejoy is playing sharper than Jalen Rose's hairline. It's unbelievable. He's come out, he's shown out. Hey, maybe this is what they need to do. No more Velarde. We'll just keep feeding the bigs. That might be what their game plan needs to be from here on out. Point guard Mugen.
We haven't seen much of Mackenzie Mbako, the other lengthy wing on this group, 6'9" forward. And that was often the case with Velarde. Now, certainly he had plenty of attempts at getting on the ball. Mugen Williams up and under, but the size differential on Anthony Council gets it to fall on the foul. Chance to push it to 9.
Weight room!
Well, you need more than the weight room to catch up to Mugen Williams' 6'11" frame. Braxton Scholar 6'4", giving up 7 inches to Williams.
Weight room! He's too big. And maybe like one of those like stretch things that's supposed to make people taller, maybe one of those would help, but that in the weight room.
It's about all that would help. Williams, who's able to cleanly get the pass from the ref this time at the free throw line, gets it to go. His second completion of an and one. 9-point lead. This is the largest of the game for either team. John Jones to Madison Miles and to Odom. Odom with a handoff. Sean Jones trying to get free, can't. Has to ditch it to KJ Johnson. Now they go inside to Miles. Miles up in 2 on Kyan Anthony. Madison Miles, I haven't seen much of him on the offensive end. Queen City has not factored him into the game plan much at all.
If you're not at least 6'9" for Gotham, I don't want to see you taking your shot.
certainly does limit the number of people that can shoot the ball, but sure.
Well, it's what's working for him so far.
Norvell Deshaun Jones trying to get the Euro step. Instead, it's going to be blocked, knocked out of bounds. That's got a Gotham 5 ball off of Deshaun Jones.
Travel ban. You're not going to Europe. Put that ball down.
$1.50 to play here in the third. Dior and Mbako now. Mbako playing at the 5. Some small ball center work.
What?
Kyan Anthony can't get that to fall. Rebound to Mbako and swatted out by Odom. Odom with the 3 fouls, certainly not impacting the aggressiveness of his defense.
Well, Odom's finally one of the big guys on the court now. Now that the biggest guy out there for Gotham 5 is Mbako. But thinking if I'm Queen City, it's my turn to take advantage of the size advantage here. Maybe give it to Madison Miles down low. If they're not going to double him, he should be able to post up anybody on the floor right now for Gotham.
Anthony up top, kicking it to Dior, who buries the 3.
Irish
47-37.
Green Marsh.
Again, considering the number of 3s that have fallen in this game, it's more of a light red. 47-39 though is Madison Miles with the quick answer, taking advantage of the physicality advantage against Mackenzie Mbako. Another 3. This one won't fall. Rebound to Miles.
Oh my God.
Dumped inside to Deontay Odom. He'll go up, he'll go under, won't go. Madison Miles, offensive board, putback won't fall either. Had Norvell Deshaun Jones in the corner, just having not to take advantage. Mackenzie Mbako rattles around and in. Back up to 10, 22 seconds to shoot here to play in the third quarter. Deshaun Jones guarded by Matthews. Bleeding out the clock. Going to work. 5 seconds to shoot.
Great deep.
Can't find any separation. Has to go to Council. Council, late shot clock. Won't fall. Tipped up and out. And that's going to end the third quarter. Gotham 5 adding to their lead. +6 in the quarter. They have a 10-point edge. We head to the final 8 minutes. Back in New York, final 8 minutes. 10-point lead here for Gotham 5. 49-39, a defensive matchup. Not a lot of great three-point shooting on either side, but a couple fall in there for Gotham 5 to build up that double-digit lead, the largest of any team. Inside, good defense there for Mbako, and that keeps Queen City off the boards. Trying to get something to go here. Late shot clock. It's going to be Dior heaving one up. Won't go. Aaron Lovejoy, offensive board, put back. He has been dominant on the offensive glass.
Him and you gonna race him to see who's gonna be the high scorer in this one.
Lovejoy certainly has been a shift in this one, Siege. Since the second quarter, Queen City Kings had the early advantage, but all thanks to Aaron Lovejoy, they have rallied back. Matthews leaves that one short. Can't add to it. Madison Miles bringing it up the floor. KJ Johnson, ball moving around for Queen City Kings. Ends with Norvell DeJean Jones up under. Can't get it to go though. Felt the presence of Aaron Lovejoy. He has been all over this game, leaving his mark on every single aspect of it.
What an animal. It's a big man game for Gotham now. Forget all the other players.
Matthews up inside, to Keontae Dior. Tough bucket. 12-point lead. And things getting a little away here from Queen City Kings as Madison Miles with Mbako draped all over him gets it to go. Here's Kyan Anthony, and up and under, and some of these difficult shots being made right now by both sides. Quite impressive.
Always fun to watch guys go to work, especially when they can hit shots like that. Boom.
There's 2 points for Queen City. 10-point lead is back. A game that just kind of feels like Queen City Kings just have not had the answer for Gotham 5. Despite being relatively within striking distance for much of this one, they just have not been able to crack this defense or find ways to slow them down.
Yeah, I think we talked about it enough, but not enough. The bigs for Gotham have dominated this game. I mean, Queen City had no answers. And good on Gotham. First game without a coach, and they identify what their advantages over the other team, and they go to it. They keep going back to the well. So, I mean, say what you will, after losing their coach, not a bad game plan.
13-point lead. Keeps adding to this largest lead in the game, but you're right. They've answered the bell. They didn't come out like they were going to answer it. The first quarter was a struggle, but since then they have most certainly looked like the far superior team. And that will be a timeout for Gotham 5, up 11. Stick here, 4:30 to play. Of course, if you want to join the action, Discord at discord.gg/SimWorldNBA. Come on and take on Queen City Kings as the Gotham 5 head coach with the vacant position. We're looking for coaches, looking for players. Join the party, join the fun that is SimWorld Hoops. And of course, follow along on social media as well. And stay tuned between this first game and our second game, Lonestar and Asia Pacific. So we're going to get the post-up. SimWorld Atlantis, I apologize. As the post-up coming at you. Of course, anchored by Maestro. Ever-talented man of many words. Coming up in between the first and second games of our doubleheader. The Siege is getting into the action here with the crowd here in New York City.
I just love the atmosphere.
Can't go wrong with the Big Apple.
Absolutely not. March, after the second game tonight, I'm flying you back out here. We're going to go to Elsewhere. It's this nice little club in Brooklyn.
Club in Brooklyn after, well, we're in Texas. I mean, we could just go to Houston. Talk to James Harden. Those are the best clubs around.
Well, all right, I'll meet you there. We'll do that.
Of course, the Sixers underneath going through a bit of an overhaul. Doc Rivers fired today. And plenty of rumors that James Harden won't be back.
Look, if I'm the Sixers, I'm trading Joel Embiid for Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton. Restart the process.
Let's chill with that ice cream take. You're sounding like Rick there for a second.
I don't know what they're going to do in Philly, but they're not going to win, I'll tell you that.
They never will, they never have.
It's not in their blood.
Philadelphia.
It's not in their blood.
Something in the water there.
It's something about adding James Harden and Doc Rivers and saying, this is it. This is what we needed to get over the hump.
Two guys that don't know how to win games.
I don't understand. You had the whole process going. It was looking really promising for a few years, and then it was like, yeah, James Harden. That's I don't know.
Well, the sad part is that James Harden is still a upgrade over Ben Simmons, since that was their last option.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
And Tobias Harris decision over Jimmy Butler. Just a whole lot of great calls there in Philadelphia. Sometimes feels like the Jimmy Butler time in Philadelphia was just a fever dream, that it didn't actually exist.
his time everywhere he's ever been other than Miami feels like a fever dream. Like, come on, the whole Timberwolves practice drama, that was unreal.
Yeah, what, he was there for 2 years?
He walked in, had a team with the third stringers and said, give me the starters, and destroyed them. I mean, that's just...
He's probably underrated in the grand scheme of things, considering he brought Minnesota to their first playoffs in who knows how long. Came within a Kawhi Leonard, sixth bouncer from actually getting wins for Philadelphia, and now in his third conference finals in 4 years for the Miami Heat. I mean, you talk about a track record that probably deserves a little bit more recognition. It's Jimmy Butler's.
I mean, look, they call him Himmy for a reason. He's him.
Tim Butler.
Jimmy Butler.
They will, of course, tip off tomorrow night. Denver and Los Angeles, but more importantly, Lonestar and Atlantis, the big game that we should all be tuning into just past the 8 o'clock hour. 2:46 to play here in the fourth quarter. Gotham 5 up 15, a game that scoreboard was close, didn't necessarily feel close, as Aaron Lovejoy continues his domination. 2 more.
I'll tell you whose shot chart is going to be green all over. It's Aaron Lovejoy.
You and the color green. Timeout called for Queen City. This is all just to extend this one. 64-47. Gotham 5 in the first game without Tim Blardy are going to snap their 4-game losing streak. Queen City Kings is going to fall for the second straight time. And a big one needed for Gotham 5 as the schedule doesn't get too much better. AT Aliens next on the docket on the 23rd, and then back-to-back against Lonestar and Gulf Coast to wrap up the month of May. Siege, kick it to you. Player of the game. I have a feeling I know where it's going, but why don't you fill us in? No?
Lovejoy, hey! Lovejoy, hey! That's my player of the game.
Unsurprising, he's dominated for most of this one.
What a beast. But in all seriousness, he's the reason Gotham 5 got that lead. It was looking like Queen City's game all the way in the first quarter. Of course, not all the way, it's only the first quarter, but if Aaron Lovejoy doesn't give them that spark, who knows how this game ends up. He gave them the spark. Mugen Williams came right after him, started playing like the animal he is, and Lovejoy just completely kind of took over this game. So he's my player of the game.
Dominant quarter for Aaron.
There's another!
And fourth, and there's 2 more.
In the word of
heck of a game.
the great DJ Khaled, another one.
I don't think I put great on there in coordination. DJ Khaled, whatever he wants to go by.
He's got the key to the city. Okay.
That one comes up short, and of course this is all counting. 66-47. It'll be a big, monumental win for Gotham 5 to steal this one out after a slow start, down by 7 points. They dominate the rest of the way thanks to Aaron Lovejoy. They'll move to 8-6. Try to keep pace in a tough division as Sire Matthews won't get back to falling. Siege, any predictions for the draft lottery? Who do you think is going to get the #1 pick?
It's gonna go one of two ways. Either the Spurs are gonna get it, and it's gonna be, oh great, the Spurs have another superstar, or, and hear me out on this, I've got a plan to rebuild the Houston Rockets. They get Wemby, they get Jaylen Brown in free agency, they bring back the H-Town Messiah, James Harden, and we've got a finals run coming up.
How are they getting Jaylen Brown?
Well, he's up for a crazy max in Boston because he made the All-NBA second team. I think around like $290 million. There's rumors and things that they're not going to pay him that much, but they got to pay Tatum around $320 million, I believe. So, and you take into account that Houston just hired Jaylen Brown's boy Ime Udoka down there in Houston. I'm hearing rumors from my buddies down in Houston that Jaylen Brown could be on the way.
I'd probably stop listening to them because Jaylen Brown, I think, still has years left on his contract.
Maybe one or two. I don't think he's got that many years left.
Well, it certainly could be a this summer thing, but I'll take Portland. I'd like him to see him in Portland. Let him have an actually good team for once.
No, because it's still not going.
Will they though?
No, it's not going to win.
Late shot clock. This will be, again, just for accounting. It's 2 points won't fall. 30 seconds to go. 66-49. Queen City Kings cannot get this one to fall for much of the, basically after the first quarter. A disastrous run from them ends any chance at a potential victory. They will lose their second in a row as they're going to fall now to 7-9. But of course, tune in for the second game of our doubleheader, Lonestar and Atlantis, coming up about 15 minutes after this one. We'll get you to Texas for that. We're going to step aside, get you over to Maestro for the post-up. Back after this.
Seeing you next time.
Tell me to see, okay, crying spells, burst of anger, difficulty eating, losing interest, feeling guilty or hopelessness, stomach pains, avoiding everybody, or you're just a Jets fan if you take the, hey, whoa, I'm sorry. You got to give me a heads up on that, brother. Welcome to the post up. I'm just reading my medicine here, trying to figure out what's going on. I am Maestro. Anchor so nice they named me twice. Not really. And I'm joined as always by the one and only, my main dude, the guy who made sure in World War II that he came and found me behind enemy lines to bring me home.
hmm
Rick Blaze, how you feeling tonight, fam?
I'm pretty good, man. I am pretty good. Thank you very much for the intro. You couldn't be more accurate than where you were just now.
Oh, you bubbling, brother, please, man. I don't care. Everybody's talking about it. I don't even care. I don't even want to hear about it. I don't even care. How was your Mother's Day, brother? How was your Mother's Day?
Man, it was good, man. The women had me in the kitchen, which would be make most people nervous, most guys nervous. But I like cooking. I'm pretty damn good at it. So I cooked up a nice little meal for my sister and for my mom. So it was a good time. We had a good time.
Nice deal. Nice deal, brother. Great to hear. Great to hear. So let's talk about which way, which way, which way. How's it going? Which way? We had a 3 versus 2. Queen City Kings look strong until they didn't. It's almost like they got stuck
Right.
at a 4-way stop. Um, so walk us down. What happened? What did you see? It boy sure get funky early.
Yeah, I think Queen City played decent basketball for about 3 quarters. They hung in for about 3 quarters, maybe two and 3/4 of a quarter. But you know, we didn't know what we was gonna get out this Gotham team based on what they've been through recently.
True
But
that.
and like I said earlier in the Discord, that I think the pressure, in my opinion, is off of Gotham. I think Gotham had pressure when they had Bellardi as their coach because there's an expectation to win. I think since Bellardi stepped down, at least in my eyes, the expectation has kind of dwindled down. So now you don't know what to expect from Gotham. But they came out, fought really hard. My man Mugen Williams had a double, 14 points, 12 rebounds. Lovejoy had 20 points. So they came out and fought, and the big time guys made big time plays. And kudos to Gotham Five. Again, I don't know what this means. On the other side, MDJ had 14 points. I don't know what this means for Gotham Five, but it's good that they can get a win. And like I said, Queen City they kind of a tier below, and they showed tonight. The best tiers can go 4 quarters with each other. When you're tier below, at some point, that talent gap is going to step in and make a difference, and that's what happened tonight.
100%. Well, it's funny. You and I had that conversation before, right? We talked about how not every record is close as it might seem. At the start of the night, G5 was 7-6, Queen City Kings were 7-8. And that sounds like
Mm-hmm.
they're, it sounds like it should be a coin flip, but it sure didn't feel like it. Not everything is created the same. We saw that tonight. We talked about that before. That's the way it is in Simrose Hoop. What a last place team can take a number one seed or number one team all the way to double overtime. But then two
Yeah.
teams that are matched up, even Steven, all of a sudden we get like a weird, funky blowout. So you're absolutely right. So you know what? And talking about records and how it goes and how it seems a little sideways, dirty, stinky, nasty. Let's talk about what that means when we look at the rest of the league. I'm looking at two divisions in specific.
Okay.
Okay, the Tropic Division
Mm-hmm.
and the Frontier Division,
Okay.
where once you get past the number one team in those divisions, everybody else is 500 or sub 500. And in the case of Frontier,
Yeah.
everybody is sub 500. So,
Right.
we get it. Not all divisions are the same. And even though those leads don't seem as big as we might think they would seem, that's still pretty hefty to have the fact that four of your 5 teams in your division are sub 500, and in some cases not even close to 500. So what do you
Mm-hmm.
make of that? What do you see? What do you feel about those divisions? I know we talked about them about a month ago. What do you think now as things are starting to shape out?
I think the cream in those two divisions, the Tropic and the Arctic. The Arctic was the second one you said, correct?
It was Tropic and Frontier.
I'm sorry, it's
Tropic and
Tropic and
Frontier.
Frontier. I think for the
Yes,
Tropic
sir.
division, it is what it is. I think H-Town is the elite team in that conference. I think
Hmm.
everything else from 2 on down is up for grabs. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
on record right now and say I think Africa's gonna lap Yacht Club.
Wow.
I,
I'm
I'm I'm
writing
I'm
that
I'm gonna
down.
double I'm gonna
I'm.
double down on that statement and say Africa's
I'm.
gonna win tonight against Best Coast.
Oh, I'm writing that down.
Hot take. Hot take.
Woo.
That's a hot take like hot cakes. So I
Ah,
think Yacht Club is trying to find themselves again with the Adam Max on the team. I think
agreed.
Africa is hitting a stride. So but H Town is the Cinderellas for that division. As far as Rocky Mountain, I think that whole frontier from top to bottom is up for grabs.
You know what?
I
I'm with
I don't know if Rocky
I'm
Mountain's
with
gonna
you.
hold on to that top spot. I'll be honest
I,
with you.
and you know what? And it's funny because that's where we were a month ago. We actually had this conversation a month ago, talking about who might come up. Remember, we made our little personal
Yep.
inside bets on who we thought were going to come up, right? Who we
Yeah.
thought were going to do what they were going to do, and so that's exactly. I still feel that way about that division, regardless of how the records seem to look. And what's interesting is you take that across to the other divisions, right? We see some divisions where the 1 and 2 team are super strong. I mean, like there's a lot of twos that would be ones in other divisions.
Correct.
And well, I shouldn't say a lot, two specifically. But then look, we talked about this every night. SimWorld Hoops. You know what it's gonna be, right? It's gonna be a dog fight to a dog pound to the dog meal, and you got to bring it. And you see these squads like Africa, by the way, that you brought up. I'm even looking across. We talked about, even talking about the North, right? It's been over a week now. The North still hasn't, solidified a head coaching position. It seems like,
Right.
it seems like other squads, they lose their head coach, and there's somebody like was outside by the payphone walking in the door, right? And
Right.
I can't figure out, as we talked about in an article today, I'm looking at the talent on the North squad. Okay, I don't, you know what, I don't care about size, but I'm looking at what they have. I'm looking at
The
what they
ladies do
could
though.
be. Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. So, that moving on. And there'll be no fighting in this episode of Post Up Tonight Family. Speaking of which, now we're gonna get to something else. But speaking of which though, but it's like, nobody really cares, in terms about that other stuff because it's all about, the size of the dog in a fight, or I should say the size of the fight and the dog is supposed to the dog in a fight. Everybody's heard that's
Right.
that
Right.
line.
Right. Right.
But the reality of it though, with a team like the North, what they have in front of them, what they're able to do, what they've shown they've been able to do on such a limited basis and in spurts. I know their record is what their record is. I'm looking past the record. I'm looking at the fact that in some games they've actually taken over the game. They just couldn't sustain it. Now, we can say it might have been scheme. We could say it just might have been just run out of gas. You can all the things you want to say. But I just don't see why no one's taken that squad yet to kind of put them into a position where they have the tools to be successful. So, who do you think? Who do you think? What type of coach would be the right fit for the North?
A Bellotti. I'm just gonna be honest and put it
Yeah,
out there. A Bellotti would
yeah,
be great for that team. I think someone like a Bellotti would relish the opportunity to kind of start from scratch. But in case you can't get a guy like him, I think first of all you gotta get somebody who's committed. Let's start there.
100%.
Let's start with someone who's committed to the ball club, who's committed to finish the season strong, and who may even can look past this season and be ready for next season with this ball club. So I think you should get a committed coach first and foremost. And this team does have talent. They're better than 3-10. Their
Well,
talent is better than
yes,
3-10. They're not. They don't have now. I don't mind calling a spade a spade. If they had 3-10 talent, I would tell you that. They don't have three
right.
and 10 talent. So it's going to take the coach that cares, but more importantly, it's going to be the coach that's going to dig in depth with the team and see what they have and see what he can do to get more out of his ball players because they are better than 3-10 for sure.
100%. And if you feel like you got what it takes to get some more out of somebody, go on and bring it here. Discord.dg//SimWorld NBA. Come on, if you got the brains, come on, be a coach. If you got the game, come on, be a player. Let's go and get it done. And if you want to get more stuff like what you're hearing right now, you got Blazing Takes by my co-host, Rick Blaze. You can always get all these hot takes. He's going to give it to you just like hot fried chicken off a pan. Or my dude, the Marsh Pod, who never, I'm going to talk about what he likes to talk about. I'll say is, there might be children listening. And of course, the number one podcast in the entire podcast and cable TV universe, Around the Table with Elaba, the voice, and the fat man, my fun size boo. So, definitely please come check us out and, let us know and keep your receipts on us. So now, Blazer, here
Yes,
we
sir.
go. I hear it. For those of you who know the rules, here's when I ask my man a question that makes him sweat a little bit. And I think about him all day, and here's what we come up with. So, which what? If you had to eat a pizza or a hot dog from a convenience store gas station, what would you pick? QT or Pilot?
Pizza.
And tell us why.
You said, well, I pick, wait, say the last one?
It's either going to be the QT or Pilot. Pick
Yeah,
one.
I'm gonna go pizza all day.
You want a pizza? Well, which one though? QT or Pilot?
Man, let's go QT.
Oh, but you said that with a lot of enthusiasm.
I prefer Buc-ee's over everything for those
Well,
in the
you know,
South. If
Buc-ee's
you
wasn't
guys
on the
don't
table.
live in the South, you don't even know what you're missing in life.
Yeah,
Because you've never been to a Buc-ee's.
No, you're right.
It's a
And you know
gas
what?
station, but it's not a gas
It's not a
station.
it's not a gas station. No, don't
It's
even
its own
try.
world.
Don't even try. Don't even try. Don't even try. That's why I wasn't on the list.
It's a Target that moons like as a gas station.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. That's why I wasn't even on the list. And if you don't know, you don't know. But now you know, so you know. So go and get it right. I'm with you right there. You know what? For me, it's all about the pizza too. And if I had to pick between the two, since I know that's gonna be my last meal, I might as well get it at a Pilot because at least I can watch TV at the doggone gas pump. So we got this game coming up here tonight. Let's go and run it out quick. We got a game coming up here tonight. We got LBC and Atlantis, a 1 versus a 4. Who you with?
Man, that's easy. You ain't gotta ask me about this one, bro.
Oh, so you got Atlantis, right?
No. No, man. I'm going with the first place team, baby. I ain't talking about Long Beach. I'm talking about Lonestar Basketball Club.
There
12-3. You gotta
go.
go to 12-3 big boys, man. You know what I mean? You gotta go to 12-3 big boys. That's an easy choice for me. And Atlantis been playing good basketball. Let me not take a squat on them. They've been playing really good basketball, but tonight they run to a buzzsaw. Name better known as Lonestar Basketball, who's a serious 12-3, and it is what it is.
And that is exactly why I asked, because I'm thinking of the same thing. Atlanta's been playing really good here lately. I got a feeling they're gonna bring it tonight. You know what? I'm feeling a little frisky there, Blazer. I got something down on Atlantis. I got something down. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I can't tell you. I got something down on them. And so for you guys, come back. Don't forget to check out our boys, Siege. Hopefully Siege got his food in. And of course, Marsh Media calling the next game coming up here with between Lonestar Basketball Club and Atlantis. And hopefully they're gonna get us a cool, nice Texas story coming up there. And for everybody else, let us know what you want to hear on the next post up. Let us know what you want to talk about. Come on, man. Holla at your boys. Let us know what's up. And I'm gonna tell you one last thing, Blaze. I'm gonna say it just one time. I do not care what that park ranger said. That duck was outside the fence, and therefore it was fair game for me to put on the grill in the back of my truck.
I know that's right. Go Rockets. We praying for Victor, baby. Number 1. Let's do it. NBA, don't screw us and pull the Tim Duncan move and get San Antonio 1 pick.
Welcome to the state of Texas, where celebrations can be heard from the distant city of San Antonio. But we've got a more important thing to take care of, and that's Lonestar basketball on SimWorld Atlantis on SimWorld TV, the second game of our Tuesday night doubleheader, joined in the booth by B-Ron. A change of pace on my part. But B-Ron, welcome to the broadcast. I know this is no foreign spot for you, but appreciate you joining us, and welcome to Texas.
Of course, always a pleasure to be here with you, Marsh, as well. Pleasure to be here on SimWorld TV, as always. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good evening. Or some basketball here.
We've got a big night for Lonestar basketball. They're trying to rebound from a struggling week a week ago as they take on an Atlantis team that's trying to build their way up in the SimWorld ladder. SimWorld Atlantis enters tonight sitting at 6-7. Lonestar Basketball Club being about 12-3, the best record tied with the originators in SimWorld, who's with the best record in the Legend Conference. And B-Ron, what are some of the items that you're looking to watch here in this matchup?
Well, this is going to be a tall task for someone else, I think, to come out on top in this game. Lone Star is a very strong team. It all starts with Jason Miguez and Nene Gibson and Derek Long as well. Those are the 3 key players for Lone Star. If those kids can get it going early, any combination of them can get it going early, it's going to be a problem for Atlantis. And I don't think that they have the talent to keep up with Lone Star. We're talking about tiers in this league, Marsh, the top tiers and the lower tiers, that kind of stuff. This is a tier 1 versus I would say a tier 3 matchup personally.
Certainly, Lone Star has a player that I'm not ashamed to say I've been high on. I guess you shouldn't be ashamed to say that. That's Jason Miguez. But a really great backcourt. You mentioned that. Nitty Gibson, number 20th ranked player in the country. They make up one of the better backcourts in the country, combined for 70 made three-pointers on the season, better than any backcourt in the country. It's a great basketball team that's risen, really, B-Ron, from, I wouldn't call it the ashes, but certainly an organization last season that was not well run, that had plenty of issues, but
Even during the
here they
offseason.
are. What's that?
Even during the offseason, they had multiple coaches come and go during the offseason. Both Texas teams, for that matter, H-Town and Lone Star, both had coaching switches on and off throughout the offseason. So, like you said, it's good to see them in the spot they are now. I didn't see it coming. That's true.
Yeah, they did not have a lot of consistency in their organization at any point, and now, though, they seem to be one of the more consistent teams. 12-3, they did lose for the 3rd time last week, but it seems that any time a loss does come their way, it's not only a shocking one, but treated as a sign by that secondary team or the team that beat them, that this is the turning point of their season, which certainly is the moniker of a team that's well established and certainly well caliber and highly talented. It's 3 points, though, for Atlantis, kicks it off. And on the other side, it's Blaine Kidd. That's the big name for SimWorld Atlantis. He kicked the season off in style with a first triple-double in SimWorld Hoops history. But since then, he hasn't quite been nearly as dynamic of a player as many people might have expected, yet still ranked 25th in the country.
Yeah, and, I think that there's part of the league that maybe is still living off of that high from Blaine Kidd, and maybe we have our sights on him set a little bit higher than what he really is necessarily. That's not to say he's not a great player out of the Atlanta, because he obviously is one of the key players on this team. But I think that him and Hilton are going to be 2 of the key players for Atlantis in this game. They want to have a chance.
Nitty Gibson gets them on the board. You said Hilton was the second one?
Yeah.
Hartman.
Hilton.
Oh, excuse me, Theophilus Hilton. Yes, I apologize.
Theophilus,
Yes. 2 players that good scores, 15.3 and 15.1. Would you expect in this game then to see a high-scoring affair, or do you expect some defenses to come out and play well?
I think when you look at Lone Star in particular, you always have to talk about the defense purely because of Derek Long. And Derek Long and the other big kid that's on the court with them at times. What's his name?
Oh, no, he's on the other side. You're going Mason Green?
Yes, Mason Green. Yes, him. Those 2 are always going to be a problem, and I think that you could see a defensive game, but I think that I think it might be more offensive heavy from Lone Star if they can limit Blaine Kidd and Theophilus Hilton's effectiveness.
Kidd certainly an electric scorer, but the size advantage will most certainly be there on the other side of the ball. Nitty Gibson 6'5", Jason Miguez, they've got actually playing the 3 with Mork Thomas starting today at the point guard position. Thomas not known for his scoring, just 2.1 points per game, as up and in size, that is Mason Green. He can't get that to fall. And one of the rare times, I think, B-Ron in this league where we're actually going to get a pretty decent big matchup. Keontae Smith, 6'10", of course. Derek Long, 6'10", and Mason Green, 6'11". It's a lengthy group on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, and that length is always going to be a problem for both teams, really, because when you talk about trying to get your easy buckets, most times those are going to come from attacking the basket. And when you have Derek Long in there, and Smith, and the other kid in there for somewhat Atlantis, that just really makes it difficult for you to second guess yourself sometimes. Do we need to go inside? Does it work? Let's try it anyway. So maybe we'll see.
10-2 run. Atlantis kicking things off nearing the halfway point of this first quarter. 10-2 advantage. Referees Mickey Hartman going from deep, and a drive into the paint for the kid draws a foul on Derek Long. That'll be the first foul on Derek Long. We'll send Kidd to the line. Opportunity to get him on the scoreboard.
I like the aggressiveness there from Kidd. What we've seen from him to begin the game so far. Done a good job of attacking the basket and taking open shots when he has the opportunity to do so. That's what got him under the high-profile looks once the season started, really.
First free throw falls. Again, burst on the scene with a triple-double in his first game and a high-scoring affair in his second, but it has not been the greatest of seasons overall for SimWorld Atlantis. They are 6-7, losers of their last two, but as we talked about on the last broadcast, part of a group in this league that's very much in the middle of the pack, 1 to 2 games above or below 500. They are 1 game below. Certainly a win over the best team in the opposing conference would be one heck of a way to kick off nearing the midway point of the season.
Absolutely, Marsh. And, I talk about all the time, and I've always said it, and I'm going to continue to say it. And I kind of feel like that what separates those good teams and the med teams from the great teams and the ones that are on the top of the leaderboard here is, can you beat the good teams, the top tier teams? And we know that right now, someone isn't in that conversation, but a win tonight could definitely help them continue to build momentum to maybe get to that point. I don't know if we'll see it happen. It's not too late for that to happen. Obviously, it's still playing on the season still, but it'll do wonders for them to get to that point.
Theophilus Hilton there for 2, and keeps the lead at 10, 14-4. We haven't seen too much of Jace Miguez through the first 4.5 minutes. Credit to this Atlantis defense for sectioning him out. 18.7 points per game, yet not a single one to account for so far.
Yeah, they've done a really good job, Atlantis has, in limiting LBC's effectiveness in general on offense. They haven't had much opportunities to do a lot of anything. And that's a lot about the game plan that Coach Marcus Wood came in here and set for his team. And that's another tough shot that falls there for Atlantis.
That's Hilton there for 2, pushes up to 12 points. So right out of the gate, Atlantis foot on the gas pedal. There's the double team on Ninny Gibson. That does get it to Miguez. Doesn't shoot though. Screen cone from Long. He'll go into the paint, jump stop, in and out, all the way down just about, and then out the other side. Rebound headed the other way is Smith.
Unfortunately, it's been that kind of start for Lonestar. You get the easy look inside too. Everything is done right, and normally that falls.
Not the case here for Miguez. Still scoreless, and the spinning layup though won't fall there for Hilton. Surprising stop here for Lonestar. Their defense has really struggled in this one.
Yeah, it really has, and I'm surprised to see it struggle as much as it has to begin the game. And as of right now, I think that you just have to find a way to get it to work, and you can try to get. Oh my goodness!
Very long and emphatic 2 points.
I'll come back to my thought.
Well, there's a big 2 points that leads to a timeout for Atlantis. Still a 10-point advantage for Atlantis, trying to pull an upset over the top-ranked team in SimWorld, who will step aside with 1:44 to play here in Texas. Welcome back to Texas. 16-6 Atlantis lead, all dominating here in the first quarter, just under 2 to play. Lane Kidd leading the way with 7 points, outscoring Lonestar on his lonesome. Three-pointer will fall there. J.P. Smith, and that is a 13-point lead. Atlantis continuing to pour it on offensively. Defensively, they have locked down the dynamic Lonestar basketball backcourt.
Yeah, they really came out here and set the tone for this game. They've hit Lonestar in the mouth essentially, and they are still trying to recover from that. They have not yet.
It was a turnaround jumper. Chris Yardley gets that to go. A tough one at that. 11 points now. Dallas, Texas native is Yardley. Going to work now is Hill. He'll try to fade away. He'll get that one to go over the top of Barry. And
that
difficult shots continue to fall here, B-Ron, for Atlantis.
Yeah, and we saw that the other night in the APAC game. They had a lot of kids making a lot of difficult shots, and when you're hot like that, it's just the basketball hoop is wide as an ocean, and everything is falling into it. Ridiculous.
Certainly, if any consolation here for Lonestar, it's that the baskets that Atlantis is making have not been easy ones. They certainly haven't gotten many great looks, but they've taken advantage of the looks they have had.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Those difficult shots eventually are going to stop falling at some point. You would hope anyway, if you were Lonestar, that those shots don't keep falling at the rate that they are, because if they do, oh boy, look out.
Yardley's three at the buzzer won't fall. That ends the first quarter. 21-10. Atlantis surprisingly on top here in Texas. Welcome back to Texas. Lonestar Basketball Club, the number 1 team in SimWorld Hoops at 12-3, staring down an 11-point deficit to SimWorld Atlantis at 6-7. A surprising first quarter, B-Ron, in which Atlantis made a lot of very difficult shots, while also forcing Lonestar Basketball Club to take plenty of tough ones themselves.
Oh, absolutely, and that has been the big reason why Atlantis has the lead that they do. They shot 73% to end the first quarter, and talking to Coach Wood in the pre-game press conference the other day, he said he's looking for hard work, and he wants his kids to play to the best of their abilities. They can definitely keep it close. He can keep it close, Mars. They have an 11-point lead. They're doing way better than keeping it close right now.
Standing in a foul called here on Nova. That'll be his first. An off-ball foul as the block on the other end, Yardley for Lonestar, tried to go up there, cut into this lead, turned away. As easygoing it has not been for Lonestar. The competitiveness here for Atlantis very much apparent on the defensive end.
And if I also had to hazard a guess as to why they're playing so well right now, it's true because Coach Wood said earlier in the week that this game, and he said it earlier today too, this game is going to impact some lineup choices that he makes going forward. So maybe everyone else will play a little bit harder to either secure their spot, their current spot in the lineup, or get better spot in the lineup rotation.
Oh! Derek Long with the SWAT. That comes after the 3 from Tyrell Marr, as Lone Star trying to find some semblance of rhythm here to get back in this thing.
Starts on the defensive end, and Derek Long maybe has set the tone, or at least gotten them back to their base here and saying, hey, we can still do this. As long as I'm on the court making plays like that, we got this. Just keep chipping away.
Bucket there. That is another one from Marr. 21-15. To respect the Lone Star Basketball Club uniforms, they're very reminiscent of the Dallas Mavericks use. Those shoulder stripes.
Yeah, I do like these. It's a different look too, with the white on the front and the blue on the back. And every time I see them, always still, let me be surprised they have white on the front. I don't know why, but I am. It's different. I like it though.
Derek Long smooth inside the paint, and a 7-0 run for Lone Star to kick off the second quarter. The offensive onslaught that many expected to come eventually has indeed arrived, and a 4-point lead now for Atlantis, and a tough basket there for Darian Hunt. But because of that, those tough shots, B-Ron, that you were talking about in the first quarter, are not falling here in the second.
Yeah, they've tightened up on the defensive end, and that has made all the difference in the world when you get this lead where it is now. Now it's going to go all the way and finish getting the lead back in their favor.
Tough shot there. One ball, Derek Long, the offensive board, the two-handed slam, and that will draw a Silver Atlantis timeout. So 23-19, a 9-2 run, B-Run. What's been the biggest change here in the second quarter to get Lone Star back in this game?
I think, again, it's two things. One, the defense, like we spoke about earlier, is tightened up. The other part of it, too, is their offense has become much more patient than in the first quarter. I feel like in the first quarter they were rushing a little bit too much and trying to force things that weren't really there. Here to start the second quarter, they've come out, they've settled things down, they've taken their time. I think they're now in the flow of the game too, because earlier I said they got hit in the mouth. Now they're adjusting to it, and they're coming out of that stunned state, and they're waking up perhaps saying, hey, we are a much better team than what we showed in that first quarter. Let's get back and let's show Atlantis that we are in the spot we are in for a reason.
As we hit the second quarter here, a couple of out-of-town scores to report on. Of course, we had the Gotham 5 victory over Queen City Kings to kick things off, and Philadelphia Elite takes down Southeast Select. Philadelphia ends their 5-game losing streak, and a big win over a good Southeast Select team.
Yeah, that's a huge win for Philadelphia. They are still trying to find their way with Coach Reese still at the helm. Coach Reese is at the helm now. They're finding their way, and I feel like they are getting really close to putting it all together.
Chase Miguez gets his bucket to fall down. That's the first of the game for Miguez. He just took one shot in the first quarter.
I was going to say, hey, it was one shot in the first quarter. That is not what we're seeing from him at all.
Certainly a sellout attempt by Atlantis to take him out of it, but now a turnover by Atlantis. That springs into a potential fast break that's cut off by the Atlantis defense. Here's Miguez operating, difficult mid-range, but that won't fall.
Good job there by Atlantis, though, allowing the steal, but not giving Lone Star the chance to get the easy fast break bucket, forcing them to slow it down and get into an offensive set that didn't work out for them that time.
2 points, cannot get the go for Chase Miguez on the up and under. Here's Marr, he's got 5 in the quarter. He wants 2 more. He's going to get 2 more, 25-23. This is the closest Lone Star has been here in the first half.
And we've seen Atlantis on the top of the court have some stopping possessions, 3 in a row for turnovers, and this one here, they get 2 cracks at it and can't get anything done with it.
Gibson in the corner, 25-23, 3:18 to play in the first half. Big lead early by Atlantis. Lonestar has rallied back. There is an offensive board for Derek Long. Doesn't go right back up to it. Instead, kick to Gibson. Gibson finds Long for an easy layup. He gets it to go. We are tied. Derek Long has been all over the floor here in the second quarter for Lonestar on both ends. Multiple offensive rebounds, a big block, 2 points there. We are tied up at 25 apiece, and it's staying that way with a rebound to Long.
And that's what we expect from Derek Long. We expect him to make his mark on the glass and with the defense, blocking shots and that nature. But he's also done it tonight, showcasing it on the offensive end too, as far as getting in the right position to get the rebounds and then come back up with them into situations, or catching the pass, putting it back up, that kind of thing. It's good to see a lot of those skills on display from Derek Long.
3 won't fall here for Kidd. It's Mason Green on the other end that just gave Lonestar their first lead of the game.
And a great comeback effort here from Lonestar, and we'll see now if they can hold the lead, Mark, now they have it on their side.
Gaz up top. It's it to Gibson. Gibson for 3, won't fall. The rebound to Hartman on the other end. In the corner, 2 minutes to play here in the first half of a competitive game here in Texas. Not surprising to many. Lonestar up just 2 points on Atlantis. Chance to take the lead. Deep 2. Won't fall there. That's Hilton. The rebound to Green. Go ahead.
Surprising how competitive this game is, because again, I had said coming in that this was maybe a tier 1 versus a tier 3. But it seems like that that tier 1 team has finally woken up to realize, oh wait, we are a tier 1 team. Let's go and show them.
Making the mark here, and that's going to be a timeout for Atlantis, 29-25, as SimWorld Atlantis has just been blitzed here in the second quarter. A 19-4 advantage from Lonestar. Again, we knew the offensive onslaught was coming. The difficult shots that Atlantis was making in the first quarter probably weren't going to continue throughout the game. You mentioned 73% shooting in that first quarter. What we expected to come has indeed done so. Chase McGaz has gotten going. Tyrell Marr has hit a couple shots. And what was a big advantage at 11 at the end of 1 is now a 4-point deficit for Atlantis.
Yeah, and again, looking at some of the numbers here for Lonestar, they are the 17th ranked team in points per game. That's at 69.5. So, we know this team can score points. They just weren't able to do so effectively in that first quarter. But it seems like now that their defense was also really good, has gotten going, that's led the way to the offense to get it going on their end too. It all works together in the grand scheme of things.
17 to play here in the first half. Atlantis trying to answer back. Trading punches, a big haymaker by Atlantis in the first quarter that's been answered by Lonestar in the second. Blaine Kidd, deep 2, won't fall. Offensive board, putback is good from Smith. They're back to within 2 at the 1-minute mark to play. Ninny Gibson will bring us up.
A great contest there on Kidd. Unfortunately, Mason Green was out there, wasn't able to be in a good position because of the contest to grab the rebound, which led to the second chance bucket there.
Kidd gets the steal, leads into transition for Smith for 2, or rather for the foul, so he'll head to the line for 2. Look there at head coach Marcus Wood.
Smith, shooting 2.
And a chance now for Smith to tie things back up with 42.2. So despite this big run, Atlantis still has a chance to be tied at halftime.
Yeah, and that's saying something too, that they can weather the storm of Lonestar getting back in the game and not letting that affect them and have them fold too much anyway. Because like I said, they're still in this game. They're down 2. All things considered.
42.2. First one won't fall, so he's staring at a deficit regardless of how this second free throw from Keontae Smith goes. Phoenix Arizona native, and more for his rebounding, 7.9 points per game, or rebounds per game, and his scoring, 5.5. And that won't fall either, so a goose egg for Smith at the free throw line. And not only will he be staring down a deficit, but could be a potential two-possession one. Here's Miguez up top. 31 to shoot to the rack hard, gets it to go. 2-for-1 opportunity, and Jace Miguez takes advantage, 31-27.
Yeah, that hurts one way with nothing on the free throw, and then allowing 2 points the other way. That's big. You gotta make those.
10 seconds to shoot. Over to Kidd in the corner. Bring the double. 3 defenders in the vicinity. Try to get it over to a corner 3. That will be short. Good, ferocious movement defense from Lonestar. Miguez now will take the final shot at the buzzer. Cannot get it to go, and that's our halftime. 31-27, so outscoring Atlantis by 15 in the second quarter is Lonestar. Their stars got going. Ninny Gibson and Jace Miguez much more efficient there in the second quarter than they were in the first, but they started to get some support. Derek Long made an impact. B-Ron Tyrell Marr made an impact coming off the bench, the 95th ranked player in the country, but a completely different 2 quarters as we head to the halftime break.
Absolutely, completely different 2 quarters. The team in the first quarter, Lonestar, looked completely lost. They had no idea what was going on, but they figured it out here in the second quarter, and now they have a lead. And with any luck, they can retain it, hold on to it, and get the W. But I think it's going to be a tougher game now than we initially thought coming in, because of how well Atlantis has played and has played to keep it going.
We're back after halftime here in the Lonestar State. Big second quarter from Derek Long, 8 points, 7 rebounds for Long, and a 31-27 advantage for Lonestar, the best team in the conference, tied for the best record in SimWorld Hoops, played like it in that quarter. Dominant run, 31-27 B-Ron. What's the keys here in the second half on both sides? Let's start with Lonestar. What's the key for Lonestar to keep this thing rolling?
I think Lonestar, as well as Derek Long, has played and probably will continue to play. I think they're going to need to get more from both Gibson and Miguez going forward in this game. Both of them, they've done good things, but not to the level we're used to seeing from both of them. So I think both of them have to continue to get going. And then for Atlantis, I think it's just a matter of continuing to hang in the game any way you can. Continue to get those defensive stops, play the D that got you to where you are now and still being in this game. And just make the most of your chance when you get them on offense. The best as you possibly can.
2 points there for Atlantis, cuts the lead in half as we start the third quarter. And then he gives it behind the back. Jumper draws the foul. Almost got that one to go. Almost got a highlight reel at it. So Gibson will head to the line. Chance to shoot 2.
Shooting 2.
Extend this. The Gibson quiet in the first half. Not quite as involved. Jason Miguez just 6 points as well. So their top 2 scorers quiet, but they do turn around. This is an opportunity for Lonestar to really start pulling away here. First free throw is good.
Yeah, and Gibson's one of those players who can get it going, especially from deep. There's number 5 in SimWorld Hoops in 3-pointers made this season. He's got 36 coming into the game. And, you know, he's a very talented kid. So if him and Miguez can get it going, and combining with Derek Long's efforts, you know, that's a three-headed monster that's tough to stop on any night.
Yeah, Derek Long takes care of your interior presence on both ends, and then you let Gibson and Jason Miguez do the scoring duties. And
Yeah.
it's worked quite well for Lonestar, despite that loss last week. 12 and 3, and that one from Hartman won't fall. Rebound to Thomas. More Thomas, the under-talked about piece of this puzzle under head coach Evan Adkins.
Yeah, I think
score a lot. We talked about it. 4 assists. He does get 4 rebounds, which is third most on the team, believe it or not. He's just 6 foot, but just one of those stabilizing presence for this team.
Yeah, I think him and Tyrell Mar both are maybe underappreciated isn't the right word, but they're the less talked about players that come in, they bring their lunch pail, as you say, and they do their job. Yeah, and you always need players like that to want any team. We talk about it all the time, especially in the pro level game, where if a player's so good, how come they can't do it by themselves? It's not 1 on 5. I want 5 for a reason.
Here's Gibson after the next free throw. Can't get the 3 to fall. Smith inside, dumping it inside rather. And that's Hilton for 2, and we are all tied up at 33 apiece here early on in the third quarter.
There they go. Hanging in the game, and you see what hanging in does? It gets you a tie ball game now.
That'll be a timeout there for Lonestar, sensing a need to regroup. Coach Adkins takes his timeout. That's his second of the game. We're going to step aside, 5:25 to play here in the third quarter. Of course, anyone always welcome you to join the SimWorld League, the SimWorld Hoops. Discord.gg/SimWorldNBA. Feel free to join in. Plenty of vacancies, and we're always looking for coaches. So if you want to test your coaching chops, you think you have what it takes, you talk a bunch of smack while you sit at the bar top watching the Lakers and Nuggets play, we'll put that talk to the test. Join our SimWorld Discord and join the coaching ranks. There's a big opening in Gotham 5, in case you hadn't heard. Good, talented group that needs a new head of the snake. We're looking for that here in SimWorld. 5:25 to play in the third quarter, early second half. Lonestar getting all they can handle with SimWorld Atlantis. Atlantis ripped out to an early 16-4 lead. They led by 11 after the first quarter, but it was Lonestar with a rapid comeback in the late second quarter, in the early second quarter, entire second quarter. Outscored them by 15 to a 4-point lead into the break. That game is now all tied up, though. 33 apiece. Inbound to Jace Miguez.
Yep, and this is going to be, I think, the real test for both teams now at this point in the game. Atlantis, they had the early lead, like you said, and they let it go. Lone Star able to get back into it, take the lead. Now they have the lead back again after Atlantis tied it up. Now it's a battle of attrition, I think, in which team is going to either give in first. So at some point, someone's going to have to give. Is Lone Star going to be able to keep playing at the level that they are now? Or will Atlantis do just enough to win the game? Because it might be what it is in this.
Three-pointer in the corner, can't answer the Jason Miguez three, which gave Lone Star Derek Long. And a charge call here on Tyrell Marr as the fans disagree. A very bang play there, very close.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. It's very close, like you said. Those are always tough to judge. I think that you give it to the defensive player in that situation, though.
Well, personal foul on Mickey Hartman, so if ever you wanted to see a makeup call made, there's one right away. And the ball headed back to Lone Star.
Oh, man, don't see a lot of those there, especially that quick. But, hey, there it is, I guess. Ooh.
Here's Marr, and he hits another tough jumper. Marr has 8 points now off the bench. He averages 8.9 on the season. He had a good second quarter that kind of kick-started the Lone Star Basketball Club offense into gear with their stars on the bench. And he adds 2 more, stabilizing 2 points. Can't answer on the other end is Reynaldo Del Orbe. And Derek Long continues his onslaught. 2 points, and just like that, a 7-0 run off of a Lone Star timeout, and it's 40-33 as we've passed the halfway point of the third quarter.
And I believe that gives Long 10 points. He might even be past by now, but he should have at least 10 points, and I think he's maybe one or two rebounds away from double-double. Kid is a double-double machine, becoming one anyway.
Long 6.8 points, 10.1 rebounds on the season. Very disruptive player. 2 more for Lone Star, 9-point advantage. The wheels starting to come off, and the talent discrepancy starting to show, though Mickey Hartman gets a deep 2 to go. Cuts it to 7.
Yeah, they're going to keep hanging around in the game, I think, but I don't know for how long is the question.
Missed there. Quick three-pointer. Won't fall. Rebound. Stop me if you've heard it before. Rebound by Long. He's dominated the glass here. Tyrell Marr up top.
Yeah, being a real glass eater tonight. Everywhere on the boards, everywhere, all at once. It's insane to watch him go to work tonight.
Everything everywhere all at once. Here's Long. Going to work in the post. Can't get that to fall. Rebound to Del Orbe. But a turnover. And right back is Long. He says, I didn't get it right the first time. Let me do it again. Back to 9-point advantage.
Exactly. When it's active on defense, though, forcing the turnover, your own self, and getting the bucket as well. That's impressive defense from Long to turn it into points as well on the opposite end there. Very quickly on my end.
And that is a timeout for Atlantis. 44-35, 2:13 to play in the third quarter, and much like the first game of our doubleheader, this was close early on, but in this second quarter is where it began. Into the second half, it has continued. The talent level is just blatantly there right now. Lone Star Basketball Club dominating since that 11-point deficit. They've outscored Atlantis by 20, lead by 9 here. Dominant performance, and truthfully one we kind of expected. We talked about it in the first quarter. A lot of very difficult shots being made by Atlantis that kind of covered up what was otherwise, a fine first quarter for both teams. Not great, not terrible, but you mentioned those tough shots weren't going to keep falling. They most certainly have not kept falling, and it has been a dominant run now for Lone Star.
Yeah, those good things can only last for so long, especially in sports and basketball. When you get off to a hot start like that, when it's those kind of shots that are falling, they're not going to fall forever. And they haven't for Atlantis. That's one of the big reasons why being able to take over as Lone Star. It's been a great performance from them. They just have to keep their foot on the gas now and continue the rest of the way.
Block there, it looked like, by Darian Hunt. If not, heavily contested. Atlantis trying to string together a couple stops. Double team comes there on Hilton. We haven't heard much of Blaine Kidd. He's not on the floor right now for Atlantis, and Hilton's tough jumper won't fall.
And I think they're going to need a lot more from Blaine Kidd, but wait a second. All right,
Tyrell Marr continues, Jermichael Pitt on that one, adding 2 points to the tally. And just another piece of this pretty deep bench that Lonestar has. A lot of good options. Marr averages 8.9 off the bench. Pitt, 6 points. Chris Yardley is 4 off the bench. None of them ever asked to be the main guy, but they fill in nicely in spot minutes when necessary. But a three-pointer answer. Atlantis cutting into that lead. A basket that every single time down, it seems like Lonestar's getting ready to pull away. Atlantis makes one shot that just keeps him honest and keeps him close. Kicks it up to Marr. Marr, step back three, no, decides to pass it in, but instead turns it over. Right to Del Orbe. 10 seconds to shoot. Hunt up top, or rather on the wing. Tries to get in off Marr, won't be able to. Rebound to Marr. He heads the opposite direction.
A chance here to get something going. Really put the quarter in.
10 seconds to shoot here in the third quarter. Jermichael Pitt operating up top. Gets a screen from Yardley. Gonna have to shoot something. It's gonna be a Marr triple. Won't fall, and Derek Long had the offensive board. If he gave him another second, it was 2 more, but instead it's a 6-point lead for Lonestar Basketball Club, headed to the fourth quarter at home against Atlantis. Welcome back to Texas. It's been a good day in Texas for many of these cities. Dallas, the latest one, as we're just outside of the city. Lonestar Basketball Club up 46-40, rallying back from an early 11-point deficit to be well in hand, or at least it feels well in hand, as 2 points cuts that lead to 4. They've simply looked like the better team here over the last 2 quarters, yet that lead is only 4, due in large part to the fact that they had to rally down from such a large deficit they put themselves in early on, as Nate Gibson gets 2.
Yeah, Atlantis is right back after Atlantis got their first lead in the quarter. But yeah, like you said, Marsh, it's one of those things where, you expect the game to go a certain way and then it doesn't. And then you're busy trying to get back to a point where you can say, okay, now we're in control, and we have to try to keep control of it. And that's where Lonestar is right now. Atlantis is still in this game, but it feels like any minute now they couldn't be. You know what I mean?
I do indeed. There's a deep shot. That won't fall. Late shot clock. 48-42.
We spoke about the talent discrepancy earlier, especially in the first game between Gotham and Queen City. It's maybe again starting to show up here in this one as well. You asked a question to Siege earlier about the balance of teams in the league versus the rephrase your question, Mars. I want to answer that too.
The balance of teams in terms of, we've got 3 kind of tiers: the top 10 tiers, the middle 10, the kind of middle class as I've coined it, and then the bottom tier. And I think the question you're asking is which one, how does a team go from the middle to get back up to the top? Is that the one you're talking about?
It was the one where you guys were talking about the balance of league and what it says about the league overall. To have.
Oh, okay, yeah. So here the question was, do you consider that discrepancy with so many teams at or above 1 to 2 games of 500? Is that a good thing for the league? Does that showcase that there's a lot of skill level here, or does it showcase that it's still a work in progress, that there's just not elite talent, just more good talent?
I think that I think it says there's a balance in the league in terms of both the talent you have and the level and the quality of teams overall. Because if there's only say one or two top teams, and then there's a drastic fall off, that to me says that the talent level isn't as high. Personally, you have that kind of thing. So I think that for the league right now, it's a good thing where it is right now. It's only going to get better as the league continues to get better and better talent. We saw talent last year to this year. It's a night and day difference in terms of the level of play personally.
Denny Gibson pushes it back to 8, and I would agree with you. I think that there's quite a bit of talent here in this league, and it's well dispersed right now, which is obviously a good thing. I think the bigger question is going to be, does that discrepancy of power, because certainly the top teams, as we're seeing tonight, teams like Lonestar are and should be considered better than teams like Atlantis. Atlantis is kind of below that middle class. But it'd be interesting as we get to the playoffs, as Derek Lung, yet another offensive board and putback. Does the increase of parity and lack of discrepancy show up again in the postseason?
Right, yeah, because it's one thing to be a top team and get to the race to 1 here in Sun World, but it's a whole other thing to be a top team, get to the race to 1, and then lose in the first round. It's a totally different thing.
Which we saw 3 of with Houston winning, Seattle winning last season, Gotham 5, Washington D.C., or was Washington, now run DMV, and New England, now originators, all falling out very early in the playoffs.
Yeah, and there's 2 sides to that coin. The one side is, hey, look, it's playoffs, basketball, it's upsets. We really like to see it happen. But on the other side of it too, that also might say, hey, was that team really as good as we thought they were to get here? If that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly plenty of question marks in a situation in which it's a 1-game series, and I think that's the great part about even a best of 5 or a best of 3 is that better team has more chances to actually showcase it versus just a single game. As Vinny Gibson's bucket hits there, and this is a 12-point game, getting out of hand just a touch with 2:52 to play. We're going to step aside real quick for the close of this one after this. Welcome back to Lonestar Basketball Club's lead over Atlantis squad at 12. We're on record watch here. 15 rebounds for Derek Long, the record 18 for Trey Hymans earlier this season. So we'll keep an eye on that. Long, of course, a little math here for you. 3 needed to tie that up.
You know, it seems like every time we see either Lone Star or H-Town play, one of their two bigs, Derek Long for Lone Star or Eric Payne for H-Town, or some sort of watch for record, something like that. Been impressive to see. And my player of the game, we saw a flash across the screen, and my player of the game is Derek Long right now. If they continue the way that they do, that's far and away my player of the game.
Well, certainly a good call on that one. Long, as you mentioned, 16 and 15, double doubles. He's a big part of reading this game has gotten to where it is. It's a 9-point edge, 2.5 to play. We'll keep an eye on that. Paced a Lone Star team that hasn't gotten great performance from Jason Miguez. Come and go performance, as Jason Miguez on key hits too. Come and go performance from Vinny Gibson, but 16 and 15, enough to get this thing rolling here for Lone Star. Ball rebound there goes to Miguez. 2 minutes now to play. As we wrap this one up, it's going to be a win for Lone Star. They're going to improve to 13-3. They'll be the first team to reach 13. They beat the Originators to that mark. The Originators will not be on the floor here until tomorrow, so they have a chance to tie that up against the North. They can reach 13 themselves, so that's the race for the top spot in each conference.
And I think they'll do that tomorrow. I don't think they'll have any issues with that tomorrow. The North is in a bit of a rough right now. They did have a new coach come in, but after Coach King is now no longer with the team. But I don't think they have the talent. It's another one of those discrepancy games, March, where I don't think they have the talent to keep up with the Originators in that game. Oh my goodness.
One rebound there is the powerful slam. We got 1 rebound from Derek Long. That's 16 now. Needing 2 more to tie. 1 minute to play. Here's the shot. And Jason Miguez stealing boards at this point.
He's just, hey guys, get out the way. Let me get 2 more, man.
And then a tough bucket. Jason Miguez not letting up. 66-49. With now under a minute to play. Atlantis with the loss. They're going to fall now to 6 and 8. 3rd straight loss for them.
And in a tough division like they are in the Atlantic with Gotham 5, Beats of the East, and Run DMV, they got the rough draw, Marsh, in that division.
Certainly one of the more tough ones. I don't think it's what Rick considers to be the Murderer's Row. I believe what does he call that one? Savannah?
I think he has that as the Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim, that's right. He thinks that's. I guess I would disagree with that take, but such is
I
life.
would, yeah, I would also disagree though. I would say it's the Atlantic, honestly.
Well, that will do it for us here. Fourth quarter comes to a close. Lone Star Basketball Club improving to 13-3 with 66-52 victory. B-Ron, thank you for joining us. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. As always, see the game, be the game.